Hi everybody, I hope you all are doing well today. I am Tanya Mei Tai Coon, and this is my father and Qigong Master, David J. Coon.
Greetings.
Okay, so everyone, today we're going to talk a little bit about mindfulness for children, kids, me. Okay, so my first question for you, Daddy, is
Yes.
very important.
Yep.
Okay, what types of Qigong would be good for kids like me, younger, older?
What kinds of Qigong? Number one, all kinds of Qigong. That would be the first answer. The second answer would be seated meditation, even standing meditation, which is a little harder to find unless you have a Qigong school near you. And the cousin of Qigong, martial arts practice, I highly recommend to get your kids involved in martial arts, but we'll save that for another conversation. Okay, continue, please.
Yes, I would also like to know. Oh, wait, actually, before I move on, what about? I've heard about this animal Qigong. Would that be like something interesting
Animal
for kids?
Qigong. Oh, kids might dig animal Qigong, yeah. Where they get to act like tigers and they get to act like dragons and they get to be like a crane.
Yeah.
It especially depends on how you kind of, engage them. Why? Because kids like to have fun. So one interesting phenomena about Qigong, first of all, this is something I teach all of my students. But second of all, I find that it's very helpful for kids. I've worked with kids for a lot of years in different groups and teaching martial arts and different things. And every once in a while, Qigong, hopefully in the years to come, we'll teach them even more Qigong when more people know what it is and they're interested. But anyway, one of the things that I would do when we would work with kids, we'd have a big group of kids, right? And everybody's all ramped up. And all the teachers are going around and going, shh, shh, be quiet, be quiet, be quiet, be quiet, which is meditation, right? Being quiet and being still is meditation, right? But I find that with my adults and also with my kids, we have to have a little bit of what we would call organized chaos. So literally, if the kids got to go, and just let it out for a minute and then boom. So the way I would practice this a lot of times with my kids is I'd say, I want you to go wild. So Bella, she's getting all excited. See, just it's still a kid. She's 12, okay? She's getting excited when I do that. So the kids want to move. They don't want to just sit there. Oh, okay, I'm going to meditate. Okay, great. Half fallen asleep. There's pros and cons to this, okay, but this is the way I do it. So I would say, for example, all right, let's get really wild for a minute, right in your space. Get really wild. Let's show me some dance. Show me some. Whoa, make a little noise. Make a little noise. Wow. Now stand like a tree. Freeze. Don't move. Shh, shh, shh. And now I'd say, be like a ninja. It's hiding in the forest. You see a tree over there, Bella? Go hide by the tree. Stand still. You know, like red light, green light? Learning to control your mind and be very, very still like a tree. Right now, it's so easy to find Bella because she's losing her awareness. You see, this is a perfect example. Now, come on over here, Bella. Run over here. Run really quick. Run and stop. Face the camera. Okay? Everybody here. Now, I want you to take your hands like this. You're going to bend your knees first. Bend knees. And I want you to float your wrists to the ceiling like they're being pulled up by puppet strings. Now I want you to turn your hands over like you're plugging all these fingers together. I want you to touch only the middle fingers together, only the middle fingers. You're going to let your elbows droop. See how your elbows are up? I want you to droop them like this. Now take your hands apart, just that same position you're holding. Now, freeze. I don't want you to move. Be very, very still. I know it's going to be challenging. Very challenging. The next challenging piece is I want you to close your eyes. Well, some kids are not even going to be able to do this.
Oh, I can't do it.
But if she can see, she can't even do it.
I'm not good with
Okay?
closing my eyes.
So I want you to take a breath in through your nose. Breathe in. Exhale your breath. Reach your hands up high to the sky. Hold them, hold them, hold them. Let them drop and touch your thighs. And now be very still. Don't move. Freeze. Freeze. Be so quiet that I could hear a pin drop. Now, see, you have a lot of adults, if they're teaching meditation, stay with it. And the child is doing that, they immediately want to tell them, see, stop, don't do that. You need to meditate like this. No, you have to roll with it. You have to dance. How many adults can actually control their mind and be still and actually close their eyes or do something? Most of them cannot. So you have to start with a progression. So there's different ways to do it. One that Bella would be really good at, which is also another form of meditation. You got meditation, yogic practice, some qigong practice that we do with standing postures, kung fu, etc., which Bella would like more because she's done gymnastics and dance and stuff. Is like, for example, if we said, Bella, go ahead and hold your foot, and then find a position and freeze in that position. She's going to go way up, go all the way up with your leg and hold. But here's going to be her challenge: stay still. This is another form of meditation. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. She's getting better at that. Okay, excellent job. So this too is a form of meditation. Okay, so there are different forms. We could also sit, be seated in a chair, start focusing on our breath. So to answer the initial question, what is the best form of meditation for a kid? The one that they're actually going to do. What is the best form of Qigong for an adult? The one that they're going to do. Therefore, finding the right teacher, finding the right class, the right time where you're going to do it, or the right video that like has some meaning to you and you turn it on every day for 5 minutes. It's the only way it's going to make any difference. Okay, so that would be my answer to the question. It's just a little example of what some meditation, what it can look like.
Yes. And I think this could also be very beneficial because I know nowadays it's very common, sadly, for kids to have anxiety with school or other things going
This is
on.
another excellent example right here. And this is why one form of meditation, so for example, Buddhist meditation, traditional Buddhist meditation, just as an example, would be like, okay, everybody sit down on the floor. Are you probably gonna, I think you can still see me, but anyway, everybody sit down on the floor, cross your legs, and you see a lot of kids doing this type of meditation. They do this Gyan Mudra from yogic practices. This is a very traditional way of doing it. They close their eyes, and this is a great form of meditation. I've spent a lot of time doing this type of meditation. I actually really like it. Simultaneously, in some ways, it's more difficult and more challenging because people fall asleep here, adults and kids. In some of the deeper meditation schools, they actually have a student who goes around, and every time you start to nod off, they kind of poke you with a stick or they poke you with a hand to kind of keep you awake. So anyway, this type of meditation has its own challenges. Having said that, one of the best forms of meditation, which is a practice, a direct practice of Qigong practice, which is we have still meditations, but we also have moving meditations. So one of the things that would be phenomenal to have in the school system, for example, is a simple exercise like the waterfall here, where we exhale our breath, we breathe in, and we blow off steam. In fact, we have a teacher, I'm not sure if she's still doing it, but years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, she was teaching kids in Castle Rock, Colorado, one of our students, and teaching what she called a brain break. And so during that time, she would do exercises like this to give the kids a brain break. Now, one thing I started at the beginning of this video, or one of the last ones I was teaching, I just want to say briefly, is one of the things that enhances meditation greatly is going from any kind of movement to total stillness. I like that a lot. And come back, tune in. I'd be happy to teach you all some of that and your kids some of that.
Well,
shoot me a little comment on YouTube.
okay, before we move on, I have so many questions today. So I would also like to know how long is a reasonable meditation for kids? Because,
how long is reasonable meditation? How long is a meditate? How long should we meditate? How long can you meditate? This is really the question. How long can you meditate? So it differs, okay? And what is meditation? If I stand like this and I'm scratching my head and I'm moving around and I'm talking to my friend, is that meditation? No, not really. So if I did that for 10 minutes, maybe that's a step in the right direction if I have a good guide. What we're looking for really is we're looking for, say, 10 seconds or 60 seconds would be great, but let's say even 30 seconds of some kind of quality letting go, right? That's what we're really looking for. So how long does it take to get there? Well, usually more than a couple of minutes. In order to go into a meditative sort of state um, very quickly, it takes a lot of practice. Now, you can't really see what I'm doing there, but when I did this in my anatomy and physiology class and they hooked me up to an EKG, which is reading the waves coming through your body and your heart rate and so on. So when they hooked me up to this, and I did that, I literally went from like a somewhat stressful, agitated reading because we were getting ready to take a midterm exam, and we had just got done moving our house over the weekend. Anyway, and a very jagged reading to this very smooth reading. And I remember my professor going like, "Oh my God, like how did you do that?" She went around and showed everybody what I was able to do and how that biofeedback equipment gave us that reading. So most of us don't have that direct biofeedback, right? But our internals, it takes time to be able to do it that quickly. So we got to just do it once in a while where it's not that great and practice it and it'll get better. Practice makes perfect.
What about what is like a good age for kids to start Qigong? Like, is there a certain age where it's like important?
Yeah. So I would say 4 or 5 would probably be the earliest. Uh, Before that, they certainly can mimic you. Bella's been watching me practice her whole life. And so when kids are younger, the younger they are, even 5, 6, 8, 4, etc., it's monkey see, monkey do. So if you're outside and you're doing this movement, you don't ever have to say to your kids, "Hey, I want you to come practice this with me," because honestly, if you keep doing this and you're like just you keep doing it, they're going to be like, "Oh, what are you doing?" And pretty soon they're standing next to you and they're copying you because that's how it works. So if, without judging anyone, just to make a point, if you're sitting there and you have sort of a beer in this hand and a cigar in this hand, and you're pointing at the child and saying, "You should practice meditation," it's probably not going to be very effective. So the opposite is true. If I just practice the Qigong myself, then the child will start joining in with me. That's typically how it works.
Yes. Well, thank you so very much for answering
Thank
all
you,
these
Bella.
wonderful questions.
And thank you guys for tuning in.
Thank
and
you
I
all
hope
so
some of your
much.
children will practice and practice with you.
Yes.
Mommy and daughter or something together. Okay.
Thank you, everyone.